going on, Jerome's? Mel Kiper Jr. is the OG draft nerd. So the grand poobah, bow down, taught. And he's still a grinder, still puts in the work, still great on television. The hair is immaculate and all that stuff. And he released his mock draft 1.0. And no spoilers, but... So quarterbacks go win, play, show, 1, 2, 3. I think that's relatively expected at this point, and also including potential trades up into the stratosphere. But the Vikings land themselves a key defensive player in cornerback 1, Nate Wiggins out of Clemson. Now, so this is an interesting quarterback class because the cornerback class is deep. I think there's going to be a lot of really talented corners taken in the first and second round, but there isn't like a tier 1 corner. Like there's no Stingley or Sauce Gardner or Witherspoon in this year's class, but I mean, Nate Wiggins has the potential to be a fantastic corner in Brian Flores' scheme. This is what Mel Kiper Jr. wrote. In my final mock draft ahead of the 2023 draft, I projected the Vikings taking a cornerback. Instead, they went with wide receiver Jordan Addison, who had a fantastic rookie season, catching 10 touchdown passes. That need in the secondary still exists. Minnesota ranked 28th in passing yards allowed to receivers last season, and 2022 second-rounder Andrew Booth Jr. hasn't quite figured things out. Let's go back to Clemson, because why not? First off, there's going to be so many Vikings fans mad here. It was like, oh, well, Andrew Booth Jr. didn't work out, and he was a Clemson cornerback. Scout the player, not the helmet. Don't be stupid. Wiggins was a lockdown defender in 2023, allowing just 4.2 yards per attempt as the nearest defender in coverage. Could the Vikings take a quarterback? For sure. Kirk Cousins is a free agent, and I don't think that rookie fifth rounder Jaron Hall will be the long-term guy. Hater. At this point, though, the most likely option will be running back with Cousins. Adding a starter on defense makes more sense. This obviously could change as we learn more about GM Kwesi Adofo-Mensah's plans. And yes, the hard thing about mock drafts before free agency is that things completely change because the calculus for the Vikings definitely changes if Kirk isn't back. It changes if Daniil isn't back, etc. But Wiggins is a stud, man, and I do really like his game a lot. End up watching a lot of ACC football, and Wiggins really stepped up the most in big-time games, like him against Keon Coleman at Florida State, in the Miami game, UNC, Notre Dame. So I do like Wiggins a lot. Let's talk about him today. Background, 20 years young, 6'2", $185. Former four-star recruit from Atlanta, Georgia. Took his talents to Clemson. Was teammates with Andrew Booth Jr. for one season. And Booth Jr. Booth Jr. at Clemson when he was healthy was pretty damn good, man. Let's not forget that. But 2-year starter for the Tigers. Career 3 interceptions, 2 pick sixes, and 21 passes broken up. Now you could say, well, that's relatively low numbers, because they weren't throwing at him. And that's the ultimate sign of respect, where, hey, if your target numbers are exceedingly low, that means that quarterbacks aren't looking your way. That means receivers can't get open against you. That means that OCs are scheming away from you. And that is the ultimate respect, man. Junior season, 44.4 quarterback rating when thrown at, which is good. Remember, throwing it straight into the ground is 39.6. Only allowed 18 catches for 176 yards, 1 touchdown against Miami. On 41 targets. Only 41 targets for a full college football season. It's pretty damn crazy, man. But also, so missed a couple games due to injury. Sort of is what it is. Maybe it's a running motif with Clemson cornerbacks and the Vikings. Who knows, man? 82.9 PFF coverage grade, as well as named first team All ACC in 2023. And superlatives. So long, lengthy frame definitely could stand putting on a little bit of weight. Some juicy Lucy's and some tater tot hot dish will help him a lot when coming to Minnesota. Press coverage savant. He is great on the island. He was great all up in the grill, belt buckle to belt buckle against other teams' wide receiver ones. He's got fluid hands, that should say hips. Fluid hands too, but also mature use of hands where, the fact that he's only 3 years removed from high school, I think that he has progressed a lot, and you see like the little tricks of just like slightly hanging on to the receiver through the breaks where the referee can't see it. Just small things like that. But he does have intermittent technique, and it's a spot where he's so physically gifted that sometimes he slacks off and just relies on his physical tools as opposed to technique, which It does happen. He is Kenny Rogers, the gambler, and no. So I'll actually be okay if the cornerback is a little bit more taking chances. And yeah, you're going to take the sweet and the sour, but let's get someone going here. Tackling needs to improve. Like, he is the antithesis of a Caleb Evans when it comes to tackling. Comparison, Antonio Cromartie. Cromartie wasn't necessarily all about that tackling life, but also he was an absolute physical freak, long and lengthy, and I actually think that suits Wiggins pretty well. And the Vikings cornerback room right now, I mean, Murphy, second year of his free agent deal, I mean, when he was healthy and on the field, he was really good. Caleb Evans was benched a number of times. He's great in run support, but sort of intermittent in coverage. Blackman, when he was on the field and given opportunity, he was great as a rookie. Booth, I don't know. Najee is more of a special teams guy. And then they got Jalen Williams, the second year former UDFA out of Indiana, playing slot on a futures deal. And same thing with the lengthy Joejuan Williams on the outside. So Wiggins, definitely could find himself a spot on the Vikings. And I think that in terms of what Flores loves on the outside, you look at Xavier Howard. I mean, a guy that you can just set it and forget it, and then you can do all your games and have funsies on the inside with the rest of your defense. I mean, it's going to make sense. It's going to make sense. But, I mean, add a little bit of weight. Definitely need to work on that run support, but other than that, I mean, Nate Wiggins, again, pending on what happens with the Vikings in terms of what happens with Kirk, what happens with Daniil, wouldn't be mad at this one at all. But your thoughts are thoughts. Mel Kiper Jr., gives the Vikings Clemson cornerback 1, Nate Wiggins, in his first mock draft. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts and his thoughts, everyone's thoughts in the comment section below. You know what to do. Skol, production value.